Today I'm going to show you how to make two different sizes of Kirby. We're going to start with the small one. So you want to make a slip knot, hold your yarn in your two fingers and your thumb just like this, wrap it around your two fingers, and then push it through the back and pull through. We're going to attach that to the anchor peg. And now you're going to do the drawstring cast on. So you're going to go behind the first peg, in front of the second peg, behind the third peg, in front of the fourth peg, and so on like that all the way around in a zigzag pattern. When you get back to the first peg, you're going to go behind the first peg again, so there's going to be nothing on that peg. In front of the second peg, you'll notice there's already a loop there, so we're going to knit that over. Lay it in front of the third peg because there's nothing there. And the fourth peg has a loop, so we're going to knit that over. And you're going to notice that you're going to be knitting over every other peg. When you get back to the first peg, this is row 1 now, you're going to see that there's nothing on that peg. So for row 1, for peg 1, we're just going to lay the yarn over the peg and we're going to knit over on peg 2. So in order to knit over on peg 2, we're going to half wrap the peg and then we can knit over. So we're going to do the U-wrap version of the knit stitch. Half wrap your peg, knit over, and we're going to do that for 6 rows. Okay, once you got your 6 rows done, for row 7 we're going to work the arms. So what you're going to do is knit 5, 3, 4, 5, and on the next 2 pegs we're going to put some stitch markers. Right on the yarn. And now we're going to do 13 rows on just these 2 pegs. So you're going to wrap your peg, pull that stitch marker over. That's row 1. Turn around. Knit those 2 pegs, that's row 2. Turn around again. That's row 3, up to row 13. Once you got 13 rows, you're going to push these stitches down a little bit and then take these stitch markers and bring them back up onto the pegs. And then once you take the stitch markers off, you're going to see that there are now 2 loops on both of those pegs. We're going to leave those there for now. And next is we're going to knit 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and then the second arm is going to be on these 2 pegs. So knit your 13 rows. Here's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, whoops, 13. Now bring your stitch markers back up, pop those off. You'll have 2 loops on each of these pegs now, and you should have 5 stitches left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's row 7. For row 8, once you get up to those 2 loops, so we're gonna knit 5, you're just gonna pretend that there's only 1 loop here and knit them both off. You can do them one at a time, so you wrap your peg, knit over, and knit over again, or you can scoop them both up at the same time and knit them over. And then you just keep knitting. And we're gonna do that until you get to row 13. Okay, once you got all 13 rows done, we're gonna do the drawstring cast off. So you're gonna take your yarn, wrap your loom once, cut it, push your stitches down about halfway, and you're going to half wrap your peg, knit over, and pull through. Half wrap your peg, knit over, and pull through. And you're going to do that all the way around. Okay, once it's free of the loom, you're going to have just this ring. Stretch your stitches, so grab each edge and pull on it and go all the way around like that. Grab your cast on tail, you can see he's sort of starting to take shape. Pull it almost tight. Don't secure it. Just sort of pull it closed. Now set that aside for a minute. We're going to do the shoes. So you're going to make your slip knot again. Hold it on your 2 fingers with your thumb. Wrap it all the way around and push it through the back. Now we're going to do the drawstring cast on, but we're only going to do 12 pegs. So you go behind the first peg, in front of the second peg, behind the third peg, and also count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So when you get to 12, it's going to be in front. You're going to wrap it behind, and you're going to lay it in front of peg 11, and then knit over on peg 10, in front of peg 9, knit over on 8, all the way back. And since there's nothing on peg 1, you're just gonna wrap it and then knit over on peg 2. So you're going to knit 9 rows back and forth like this. So you're just half wrapping your peg and knitting over. And since we're knitting flat, when you get to the end, you're going to knit over and then just turn around, knit over again. So that was row 1, and we're going to do 9 rows. Once you got your 9 rows done, we're going to do the drawstring cast off. So wrap as many pegs as you have loops on, plus a couple more. Cut the yarn. And it's the same as before, you're just going to half wrap your peg, knit off, and pull through. Alright, once your work is free of the loom, you're going to have something that looks like this worm. We're going to stretch the stitches. Trust the process. Stretch the stitches. And we're going to pull both of these drawstrings closed all the way. And here's your little shoe. So we're going to sew this up. You can put a little bit of stuffing in it if you want to. I find that the small ones don't really need it. So we're just going to do a couple of stitches down to the middle. And same with the other side. Now make 2 of these. Once you have both shoes done, you're going to attach them to the bottom of your Kirby. So you're going to aim for about the middle between the hole and the arm. And just sew that through. Let it go, grab the other drawstring. Put that through a few stitches away. And just tie those 2 together. Now he's got a shoe. Now sew in your other one. Now you can loosen this drawstring again. And throw these strings down here. You can cut them if you want, but you can just leave them as extra stuffing. We're going to tighten the top. And secure it. So thread your needle. Go to the inside. Find the hole. Have your yarn on one side and put your needle in through the opposite side of that hole. Come up where the yarn is. And that should secure it pretty good. Now we're going to make a knot. So do the same thing. Make a loop. Go through the opposite side of that loop to where your yarn is and pull tight. There. Now we just need to face. I'm going to give mine a pretty simple face just with some black yarn. So I'm going to cut a length of it. Thread that. You can do more detailed eyes if you want with stuff like fabric paint, felt. You can paint safety eyes, or you can embroider them. Go a little lower, I think. But I'm just gonna go for simple today. Now we're going to stuff all these tails in here. Well, all but one. Give them a little stuffing. And you can send that through. To hide the tail. Squish them into shape. Adjust the shoes if you need to. It was a little blue Kirby. Next we're going to do the bigger one. And I'm going to do this a little bit faster since it's essentially the same thing, just slightly bigger. So you're going to make your slip knot, attach it to the anchor peg, do your drawstring cast on. And since this is an odd number of pegs, it's the 31 peg loom instead of an even number, when you get back to the first peg, instead of going behind it, you're just going to lay it in front of it and then start knitting over like you normally do. Peg 2, peg 4, and so on. Okay, once you got your drawstring cast on done, we're going to U-wrap knit for 9 rows. Once you got your 9 rows done, we're going to knit for 6 pegs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we're going to mark 3 pegs with stitch markers. Pop those off, that's row 1. And we're gonna do 15 rows on these 3 pegs. Push your stitches down, bring your stitch markers back up to the first one, do the last one, and then do the middle one so that the edges don't get stuck. Then we're going to knit for 13 pegs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. And then mark the next 3 pegs with stitch markers, and we're going to do 15 rows on those 3 pegs again. Then you're going to knit 6. You should have 6 pegs left over. Okay, once you got your stitch markers brought back up and your 6 pegs knit, that's row 10 complete, and now you're just going to knit up to row 19. Okay, once you got all 19 rows done, you're going to wrap your loom once, cut the yarn so that you can do your drawstring cast off, which is again half wrap your peg, knit over, pull through all the way around. When you get it off the loom, you're going to stretch your stitches and you're going to pull the cast off tail. Okay, the cast off tail, you're just going to pull it just like the last time. not tighten it all the way. And we're going to set this aside and make the shoes. So for the shoes, we're going to drawstring cast on 16 pegs. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And you're going to knit for 12 rows. Okay, once you're done with your 12 rows, do your drawstring cast off. Stretch your stitches. Pull both drawstrings. And we're going to sew this up a little bit. And we're going to give it just a little bit of stuffing. Enough to give it some shape. Now we're going to make 2 of these. So another way to do this is to just tighten the cast off tail. And secure it. And then add the shoes. Same way that we did it for the small one. Stuff all these tails inside. Put some stuffing in it. Not that much. Okay, now you can tighten and secure the cast-on tail. And send that through. And you can add the face after. So again, I'm just going to go in with some simple eyes. So you're going to go in at a random spot through the side and leave enough tail so that you can tie it after. And on the last stitch, come out exactly where you went in. And now you can tie that. Make sure that it sinks into the yarn a little bit. Cut both of those tails pretty close. And then you can shove that in with the needle. And then it's gone. And you got derpy little Kirby. And there you go. If you like this pattern, you can check me out on Etsy to get the written copy of it. And if you want to see me make something else, you can write it down in the comments. Thanks for watching.